about it during football season and basketball season, but the Holy War on the Diamond is a rivalry into itself. Well, rather inauspicious beginning here for Mr. Di Carlo on the sidelines. We'll take the brunt for that, too. But when we come back, we'll have our Tony Letcher Student Athletes of the Week. I know the mic worked for that one, and that comes your way next on the Sports Michiana Game of the Week.
You're watching the Sports Michiana High School Game of the Week, brought to you by Tony Letcher Health Markets, Tire Rack, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, the St. Joseph County Police Department, Imagineering Finishing Technologies, Patrick, Reliance, the Lillier Insurance Agency, Big C Lumber, Crown Trophy, Ferret Custom Roll Forming, your neighborly hometown heroes, Williams Family Chiropractic Clinic, and these great sponsors.
Shopping for tires used to be like pulling teeth. That was before I went to TireRack.com. TireRack's Tire Decision Guide made it easy to drill down to the right tires for me.
What?
Oh, I got a great deal. My tires shipped fast and free and arrived the next day. I even got 2 years of free road hazard protection.
Where?
You're darn right, wow. Next time your tires get long in the tooth, visit TireRack.com.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
In need of an award? Call Crown Trophy of Mishawaka, the area's premier award provider. They've been serving the area since 2001 with cutting-edge exclusive products, personalized with state-of-the-art laser engraving technology. And Crown Trophy has more than just trophies. They offer corporate, sales, and retirement awards, along with personalized gifts and promotional products. Crown Trophy, nationally known, locally owned, where everyone's a winner.
For over 100 years, experience and inspiration have been the foundation of Big C Lumber. I'm Mark Young. Deciding on the perfect cabinetry for your home can be overwhelming. It's best to depend on our consultants with decades of experience at Big C Lumber. Your needs and wishes will be matched with our guidance in the creation of new spaces. We call this customer-inspired design, representing your personality, your style. Visit Big C Lumber, where the possibilities are endless.
Let's be honest, shopping for window treatments can be a real pain in the glass. Shades, shutters, blinds, drapes, the options are endless. Avoid expensive mistakes and return shipping with online retailers. Call the local team at Quality Window Treatments. Their entirely local process makes choosing the right look for your space easy. They bring the showroom to you during your in-person consultation. And with hands-off local installation, you never make a measurement. Visit QualityWindowTreatment.com to book your free consultation and see your space in a whole new light.
Your garage door keeps your home, family, and valuables safe and secure. Make sure it always looks good and works well. Precision Garage Door is your one-stop shop for design, installation, and repairs. Count on us to help you choose the right materials, style, and color for your new door. And when you need repairs, we're ready. Our friendly trained technicians work around your schedule and are available 24/7 for emergency repairs. Call your local Precision Garage Door.
You dream it, we design it. You need it, we've got it. We crank it out so you can crank it up. We work with purpose to power your passion. It's game on, so come on, let's elevate adventure. Let's take life to the next level today. Let's become better together. This is Patrick.
Time now for our Student Athletes of the Week, presented by Tony Letcher with Health Markets. We have a pair of baseball brainiacs, both playing shortstop for their respective teams. Evan Maloney of Marian, Joe Washburn of St. Joe. We'll start with Evan, a senior at Marian High School, a member of the baseball team, a member of SAD, and has a 3.75 GPA. How do you balance everything?
I don't know. Just go home, study, make sure I do prepare for my tests, just make sure everything's good.
You're planning to go to IU Bloomington for accounting. Why IU? Why accounting?
IU, my family's gone to IU. My parents both did. And accounting, I took a class last semester, and I fell in love with it.
Being a legacy, how much cooler does that make it to go be a Hoosier?
It makes it so much cooler. Just being able to make sure my parents pass it down.
What does being a Marian Knight mean to you?
Being a Marian Knight, our motto, learn, serve, leave. Just... it's a brotherhood. It's a family. Just people there for you always.
Evan, thank you very much. Congratulations. Joe Washburn is senior at St. Joe. He has a 4.25 GPA. Member of the baseball team, starting shortstop. How do you balance everything?
There's been some late nights staying up studying after games, but you just kind of got to grind through it, make it work.
You're headed to Creighton, where you'll major in finance and, of course, play baseball, D1 baseball. How thrilled are you for that opportunity next year?
I'm super pumped. Couldn't be more excited. Found the perfect fit. I'm ready to be a Blue Jay.
What does being a St. Joe Husky mean to you?
So, we're a pack. I live for these guys. I die for these guys. It's just all team, everything for the team.
Joe, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Joe Washburn, Evan Maloney, our Student Athletes of the Week, presented by Tony Letcher with Health Markets. We have your first pitch from the Sports Michiana Game of the Week right after this.
Finding private health insurance can be stressful. What if it didn't have to be? I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I prefer to personally meet with my clients so I can get a better understanding of your needs and budget. I can even review your current coverage. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
Founded in 2001 by brothers Sam and Levi, Reliance has built a reputation for excellence, providing high-quality home building and renovation services to the Michiana area. From single-room renovations like kitchens and bathrooms to building your dream home from the ground up, everything benefits from their decades of experience. From concept to completion, Reliance makes even the largest projects simple and hassle-free. To find out more, visit RelianceDBR.net. Reliance. Design, build, renovate.
When contractors and OEMs need quality electrical products at the best prices, they look to Babsco Supply. We strive to supply all the electrical products you need for residential, light commercial, and OEM electrical components. We have the knowledge, dedication to customer service, and extensive inventory to ensure your electrical projects are completed successfully. We are employee-owned, which means all of our employees are owners. So you know we care. With locations in Elkhart and Warsaw, Babsco Supply is working together to serve you better. Learn more at babsco.com.
Your car carries precious cargo. It needs to be dependable, rain or shine. Let Tom's Car Care Center in South Bend help take the stress out of your car's maintenance. We'll change your oil in 10 minutes, flush your transmission, replace your wiper blades, and much more. Oil changes include a half-price car wash when needed. Welcome to your extended family, Tom's Car Care Center.
Are you tired of auto service from big box stores and new car dealers? 45 years ago, my parents, Bud and Diane, founded Zolman's with a strong commitment to the community. Today, Zolman's Best One Tire and Auto Care is still family owned and operated with over 150 employees and families. And we offer a price match guarantee on any tires from any local dealer, while providing complete auto service on all makes and all models. Serving you and your family for 3 generations. Buy local, shop local. Zolman's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Just graduated high school and now wondering what's next? Ready to start making a difference? Now is your chance. The St. Joe County Police Department Correctional Officer's starting pay is $50,000. Working in the jail can teach you life skills that you can use as a correctional or police officer. Benefits include vacation, medical, dental, and vision. For
For more information, call Sergeant Kylie Williams at 574-245-6263 or apply at sjcpd.org.
And this edition of the Sports Michiana Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the St. Joseph County Police Department. Join the team and help protect and serve our community. Chuck Freeby and Bo Hundt in the booth. Today, Angelo Di Carlo with a Patrick Sideline Report. This is an intense rivalry whenever these two teams meet.
Number 24, Jacob Snyder. At third base, number 11, A.J. Lassane.
And the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. While we've got a chance, let's check out the Marian batting order for today. Here's Bo Hunt.
Yeah, we got the starting lineup for the Marian Knights tonight. You got Maloney and Gruber. Gruber, the catcher, just a freshman for this Marian Knight team. Gruber's hitting .333 as a freshman. Coughlin, then you got Cole Hunt. Cole, lone returner, everyday starter for this Marian Knight team. Ryan O'Hara. Ryan actually got his first home run the other night. Big for this Marian Knight team. Nunley, Nitz, Bennett, and Gardini.
And we will be back with the first pitch of today's game after this 1-minute timeout. You're watching the Sports Michiana High School Baseball Game of the Week.
I joined Notre Dame Federal Credit Union a long time ago.
1978.
I've been a member over 15 years.
I've worked with Notre Dame my whole banking life.
44 years.
I have my checking account there. I have my savings account there.
Really value the
community-based banking system.
My credit card with Notre Dame. I have my car insurance with Notre Dame.
I can't say enough good things, really.
I have my auto loans with Notre
My
Dame.
whole life is at Notre Dame
I
Credit
will
Union.
remain with them until the day I die.
It's one unique, one special vibe.
In 1969, America celebrated men landing on the moon. Now the USA is trying to return, and Imagineering Finishing Technologies in South Bend is helping pave the way. IFT is providing paint, chemical conversion coatings, and non-destructive testing services for NASA's Space Launch System and Orion spacecraft, which will deliver astronauts to the moon and possibly Mars. Help make it happen by joining the Imagineering Finishing Technologies team at iftww.com/careers.
Yes, I was just in a bad car accident. I need help.
I'm in a call center. How am I supposed to help you? Did you buy this insurance over the interweb?
Yes.
You think this can wait till after my lunch break?
No, your lunch can wait.
When this happens, you'll understand why it's important to have a local agent. The Lilliard Insurance Agency is just that agency. We're a local agency and we're here to take care of you. Call the Lilliard Agency today.
And this edition of the Sports Michiana Game of the Week being brought to you by Tire Rack. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. And the umpires meeting with the two coaches to the side of home plate as the starting pitcher for St. Joe, Jake Snyder, warms up here. But let's get a check on what the teams are wearing from Bo.
Tonight, we're going to check on what the teams are wearing, brought to you by It's Tops in Mishawaka. Marian, the visiting team, wearing the royal blue tops, gray pants with the white numbers. St. Joe's wearing the Columbia blue unis with the white letters and red numbers.
We'll give you the keys to win verbally tonight. They're sponsored by our friends at Lilliard Insurance Agency. Marian feels like it needs to play a clean defensive game, and they've been very good defensively so far this season. Throw strikes, that's been a problem for Joe Turnock's pitching staff so far. And then play with confidence, which isn't always easy for a young team when they're going on the road against an undefeated arch rival. For St. Joe, they want them to trust their abilities. They feel like they are the better team coming in, which means they need to be aggressive and play all 7 innings, because if the Huskies have had a problem in some games, it's been taking their foot off the gas. Let's try one more time with Angelo Di Carlo for a Patrick Sideline Report. Third time's a charm, right, Ange?
I think. You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
See, this is what happens in Holy Wars. You never know what's going to happen. Mike might not work. What happens on the field could be different than you expected. It's always the case, regardless of what sport they're playing, who's playing on the field, and we've seen that in baseball over the years as well. It's two very good programs. The players all know each other. A lot of them play travel baseball together. A lot of them went to grade school together. So you have a lot of bonds. The two coaches really like each other as well. So that also makes it very competitive when you like the guys on the other side of the field, and you really want to beat them.
Jacob Snyder, the starting pitcher for St. Joe tonight. Jacob Snyder is 2-0 on the year with a 2.90 ERA. He has thrown 9 2/3 innings, given up 10 hits, 7 runs for them earned, 9 strikeouts and 2 walks. So he's got pretty good control. Our first inning tonight being brought to us by Marian High School, and that batting order for Marian was brought to us by the Diocese of Fort Wayne South Bend Catholic Schools office. Evan Maloney leads it off for Marian. The first pitch of tonight's game is a strike on the inside corner, and we're underway on a sunny day at Ernie Padzikowski Field. Game time temperature 47 degrees. The 0-1 is spanked foul. Joe Turnock, the head coach of the Marian Knights, makes the play in the third base coach's box, but Snyder quickly ahead in the count 0-2.
Yeah, exactly what you want to do to start out the game. Get ahead in the count, throw strikes, use your defense. You've done a great job in the first 2 pitches.
And that first pitch was sponsored by your neighborly hometown heroes, and a free base for Evan Maloney as he's hit by the pitch.
Throws 2 fastballs. His first curveball got away there.
So Maloney gets on base, and that gives a man on first for the catcher, Vinny Gruber, only a freshman, but as Bowman noticed, he's batting .333 on the season. No homers, 3 runs batted in. He checks his swing but gets the full strike.
Gruber's been a solid complement behind the plate for this Marian pitching staff's done a great job of framing, getting, having soft hands back there and framing the pitches.
And the 0-1 is a little bit low, a ball and a strike. Randall Groves working with Jay Miller tonight as our umpires for tonight's game. The outfield playing Gruber to swing a little bit late. The center fielder Downey well over towards right center. Gruber shows butt, takes a ball down in the dirt, but Maloney won't advance. One of the places St. Joe benefits from a veteran is behind the plate with the backstop Owen Balin.
Yeah, Balin's been here for a few years, been a 3-year starter, a little bit his freshman year as well, and has done a great job for this St. Joe Husky team.
Snyder checks the runner and delivers. It's high and away, 3-1.
2 curveballs for Schneider, both of them in the dirt. He's going to have to find that tonight and be able to throw that for a strike.
The third baseman, A.J. Lassane, playing even with the bag. Gruber again shows butt, takes a strike on the outside corner. The count's gone full at 3-2 with Will Coughlin waiting on deck. Marian coming in with a record of 3-1 on the season. They lost their opener to Northwood. They swept Adams last Friday and Saturday in their first NIC games, and they have the first 2 men on base here in this one.
That walk brought to you by Christensen Furniture, Mishawaka. Check out Christensen Furniture for all your furniture needs.
Here's Will Coughlin, the DH. Coughlin batting .333 in his junior season. No homers and 3 runs batted in. He did not play in the series against Adams. You've got the scouting report on that.
Yeah, broke his knuckles. Not punching anything. But broke one of his knuckles, was out for a little while, and luckily spring break fell right when it happened, so he had a week off, and then a little bit of time last week as well.
Kind of think on a cold day like this, gripping the bat's not going to be a whole lot of fun against a pitcher like Snyder. Here comes the 1-0. Again, the bunt is shown, but it's foul up the first base side, 1-1. You've seen a lot of Marian games as the father of a Marian player. Let me ask you this. Is the small ball way something that Joe Turnock's done a lot this year?
It's one of the things when you get, as a coach, you get a guy on first and second with nobody out, you're going to lay the bunt down, no matter who it is in the lineup, unless it's, somebody that's they can really trust and really understand to drive the ball in the gap or pull the ball to move the runners.
Pitch misses inside, and the count goes to 2-1. Our first inning being sponsored by our friends at Marian High School. And they're trying to make it a profitable first here with runners at first and second and nobody out. And time called by the catcher, Balint. He was in that crouch for a long, long time. And now he's going to go out to have a word with Jacob Snyder.
The Diocese of Fort Wayne South Bend Catholic School is proud of St. Joe and Marian High Schools and the opportunities they provide families in developing their children spiritual and academically. The Catholic Schools office always thank families for choosing Catholic schools. This year enrollment was up nearly 4%.
For a young team, Marian has swung the bat pretty well this year. They are batting .340 as a team. And hoping to deliver in a clutch situation right here with runners at first and second. The 2-1 to Coughlin. Inside corner with a fastball, and it's 2-2. That was a pretty good location for that fastball from Snyder there, and especially against a guy with some broken knuckles. We'll see if he tries to keep it on the inner part of the plate here.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch to hit, and if you're a pitcher that can pitch inside, you can be very dominant.
Balin sets the target low, the 2-2 breaking ball inside, and the count goes full again.
Almost looked like the same spot, but the curveball did hang out just a little bit as it was coming back in. Tried to work that inside corner again.
The cleanup hitter, Cole Hundt, waiting on deck. Snyder would love to induce a double play ball here on 3-2. Fastball fouled away, got that one in on the hands of Coughlin, and he fought it off well. The other thing in high school baseball that you constantly have to keep an eye on is the pitch count.
Yep.
And they're doing a good job of running it up on Snyder here in the first inning. His 13th pitch of the inning misses high, and the bases are loaded without the benefit of a hit.
Marian's done a great job all year of really understanding pitch location, where pitches are, and really being patient up at the plate.
And now Cole Hundt steps in, the son of our analyst. And Cole batting .333 on the year with no homers and 6 runs batted in. But Tyler Beck, the pitching coach, is going to go out and have a word with young Jacob Snyder and bring all the infield together.
Great
the walk there brought to you by our friends at Christensen Furniture, by the way.
Great opportunity for Marian here. And as you mentioned, yes, Cole is my son, but he has struggled against St. Joe over the years. Just 1 for 15 in his career against St. Joe. Yes, he's had some sac flies and some walks and stuff, but being a senior leader, and this is the opportunity right here early in the game. No pressure on him, but need a big hit here.
Well, he had a huge hit on Saturday afternoon against South Bend Adams. In fact, it was the walk-off 2-run single that won the game for the Knights. So trying to pick up where he left off over the weekend, he takes that one high and outside 1-0, and the wind blows the cap off the head of Jacob Snyder. The pitch count mounting, so is the trouble. As Hundt takes that one a little bit high, and it's 2-0. Snyder, you're wondering where it was, and Randall Groves, the plate umpire, says it was above the letters. Hundt pops this one foul territory, third base side. Lassane over to have a look, but he can't get to it. It's out of play.
Your home deserves the best, and your neighborly hometown heroes are here to deliver. Glass Doctor secures your home with expert glass care. Mr. Handyman takes on small fixes to big improvements, and 5-star painting revitalizes your space inside and out. Trust the pros who bring you peace of mind above all else.
Here comes the 2-1. Outside corner for a strike, and the count evens up at 2-2. Snyder trying to wiggle out of trouble here. Bases loaded, nobody out, top of the first, no score. Fouled away right to the on-deck circle. Nice play by Ryan O'Hara, barehanded as it came his way, and the count stays at 2-2. But the pitches continue to mount here for Snyder. And that curveball misses way outside, and the count goes full now to 3-2. His third full count of the inning. He has walked 2 and hit a batter. Hundt trying to drive in the first run of the game for Marian, but he fouls that one away, and we'll do it again. .20 pitches now for Jacob Snyder here in the first inning, and he still hasn't retired a batter.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you get to 20 pitches in the first inning, nobody out, it's a situation.
And Hundt takes this one up the middle of the second baseman. They'll flip to second for one. The relay to first is in time. It's a 4-6-3 double play, but it brings home a run. No RBI on the play, but it's 1-0 Marian. Brady Loniger fielded it cleanly. The quick flip to Joe Washburn, and Washburn's got a nice arm, and he threw out Hundt by a step.
Pinch runner coming in for Gruber. Gruber heading over to get his gear on. Silas Johnson, the senior.
Silas, the March Senior of the Month at Marian High School. Great teammate on this team. And so he's the runner at third with 2 away, and a fastball gets Ryan O'Hara to swing and miss. It's 0-1. Boy, if Snyder could get out of this with only giving up one run, he will have walked the tightrope, folks.
Well, you talked about it. Hitting into that double play is exactly what St. Joe needed.
Fastball misses inside, and the count goes to 1-1. Jack Nunley, who's been a hot hitter this season, waits on deck. Runner at third and 2 away. The 1-1. Breaking ball in there for a strike, and that's the best one Snyder has thrown tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needed to do earlier in this inning, and finally he's found that deuce. Got it across the plate for the 1-2 count to O'Hara.
Taking a curveball low. That might have been a slider that time, actually, and the count goes to 2-2. O'Hara, who has the Knights' lone homer of the season, stands in the right-handed box and fouls this one down the right field side. Long run for Owen Fuda, and he can't get to it. It's out of play. O'Hara, also a member of the football team at Marian, only played in 6 games last year, but boy, he's been a nice productive player so far this season.
He hit the weight room in the offseason, really bulked up a lot, and really has been a great asset to this varsity squad this year.
Turned a little bit on that pitch and fouled it away, and it's still 2-2. Have not been a whole lot of swing and miss. Time called. This time O'Hara needs it. He'll step out and try to get Snyder out of his rhythm. Key situation here in the first inning. Marian already leading 1-0, but trying to add to it. The 2-2 fastball blocked beautifully by Balint, and another full count.
Great job by Balint. Guy on third, really putting your body in front of that ball.
And another payoff pitch is hit high in the air, first base side, foul territory. Borody Zielinski makes the one-hand catch. And St. Joe gets out of the inning. 1 run, no hits, no errors, a man left. We've played half an inning at the Padge. It's 1-0 Marian on Sports Michiana.
For over 100 years, experience and inspiration have been the foundation of Big C Lumber. I'm Mark Young. Deciding on the perfect cabinetry for your home can be overwhelming. It's best to depend on our consultants with decades of experience at Big C Lumber. Your needs and wishes will be matched with our guidance in the creation of new spaces. We call this customer-inspired design, representing your personality, your style. Visit Big C Lumber, where the possibilities are endless.
This edition of the Sports Michiana Game of the Week being brought to us by Reliance. Design, build, renovate. No need to renovate a whole lot in the St. Joe batting order. They've got some folks who can hit, Bo Hunt.
Yes, they do. They lead off with Washburn. Washburn hitting .588. The Creighton commit, all NIC 2 years in a row. Brody Zielinski, we talked about him. He's going to Wabash Valley as a pitcher. He's going to have Tommy John surgery tomorrow. This is his last day. He's been really a key in this lineup as well, hitting .278. And then you got A.J. Lassane hitting .412. Third baseman, just a sophomore, really done a great job at third base. Zielinski's played that over the past few years when he's not pitching, and Lastane's really jumped in that role and done a great job.
So the starting lineup brought to us by the Diocese of Fort Wayne South Bend Catholic Schools office. And the warm-up pitch is being taken by our starter today for Marian, Cade Briones, 1-0 on the year with a 2.42 ERA. In 8 2/3 innings, he's allowed 9 hits. Other than that, 3 has been the magic number. 3 runs, all earned, 3 strikeouts, and 3 walks. And he is your quintessential soft-tossing lefty. The fastball, the curve, and really does a good job of keeping hitters off balance, because one of the things he's done a really good job of, in fact, probably the best on the Marian staff, is throw strikes.
Yes, that's the biggest thing with this Marian team is they need to throw strikes. They need to play defense, throw strikes, just like what St. Joe did that first inning and walk some guys. Marian has the ability to do that at times. Reminder, our first inning is brought to you by Marian High School. Did you know that Marian High School offers a variety of summer camps from athletics, art, music, and STEM? Marian has something for all kids, grades K through 8. Be a summer night. Visit marianhs.org for more information.
A prayer behind the pitcher's mound for the Marian Knights as they get ready to face the hot-hitting Joe Washburn, batting .588 to start the season with a homer and 8 runs batted in for, as Bo mentioned, the Creighton committee did a wonderful job in his Tony Letcher Health Market student-athlete interview, and gets ready to step in there now. The opening pitch of this inning, sponsored by your neighborly hometown heroes.
Washburn's one of those guys that gets on base and he scores. He gets on base, you got to almost guarantee, I don't know what the percentage he has, but it's got to be close to 80 to 90% of the time he gets on the base, he's scoring.
Well, he leads the team in steals, but let's see how he gets on base here. The third baseman, Hundt, almost in on the grass. Check swing by Washburn. That one's fouled away and out of play. Washburn talking about making the commitment to play at Creighton, and, of course, Creighton right there in Omaha. That's where every college baseball player wants to get eventually. He's just got a head start.
Yes, he does.
1-1 the count. Briones with a breaking ball that misses outside, and it's 2-1. He's got good movement on his bender.
Yeah, you see that ball's in a move, and what they're trying to do is miss the barrel by a quarter of an inch. If you can miss that barrel by just a quarter of an inch and get him to be out in front, you get a ground ball or a pop-up.
Tough to do against Washburn, who was an all-state player a year ago. Takes that one inside, and the count goes to 3-1. Washburn with a nice compact swing, and he is lightning quick going down the line. Here comes the 3-1, and that one got him on the arm. So Washburn trots down. Both teams' leadoff man plunked by a pitch tonight. But it's extra dangerous when you put Joe Washburn on. He leads this team with 11 stolen bases, and he's made no bones about it. He wants a crack at the state record, which, by the way, is 72.
He's got a ways to go, but if there's anybody in this area I think can do it, it's him.
Brett Mason gets ready to step into the batter's box here for St. Joe. Mason batting .438 with a homer and 3 runs batted in. Washburn about a 3-step lead over at first. And there he goes, and he got a huge jump, and Gruber couldn't get him with a cannon.
Yeah, it's one of those things when a lefty's on the mound, as soon as they make that first movement, you take off, no holds bar. If they come over, you're still going, still in that base, and he got a great jump, as you said.
And don't be surprised if he's running here again. There he goes, and the bunt popped back foul and out of play by Mason. If Mason doesn't make contact with that Washburn may not even have to slide to go to third.
That might be one of those situations where you just take a pitch. Washburn had such a lead. It's one of those in-play situations as a batter. It's hard to do at this level. At the next level, you have the ability to pull that back when you got a player that gets a jump like Washburn did.
A ball and a strike to count on Mason. Washburn off to the races again. That pitch outside, and Washburn has his 13th stolen base of the year. You put him on base, you might as well just let him go to third, because he's going to do it anyway. 2-1 the count on Mason. Briones misses high with the off-speed pitch, and it's now 3-1. And Brody Zielinski, the first baseman, waits on deck. Briones had a save in the game against St. Joe last year on the junior varsity level, but that's a different animal. As the fastball is on the outside corner for a strike. Nice job of framing that time by Gruber, and it's 3-2. Mentioned Gruber's only a freshman, but he framed that one like a veteran.
Yeah, he does a great job behind the plate, like I said, of framing.
Payoff pitch here to Mason. Pop back foul over our heads and out of play, and the count holds at 3-2. One nothing Marian. We're in the bottom of the first. St. Joe has dominated this rivalry over the years as that pitch is taken high for ball 4, but Marian has had the upper hand in the last couple of seasons. St. Joe trying to get back at him today with runners at the corners, nobody out, and Brody Zielinski at the plate. There's an adage in sports to play every game as though it's your last. Well, for Zielinski, this is his last. He will be having Tommy John surgery tomorrow as they try to get his arm ready for a good future. He's committed to Wabash Valley College, which is one of the better baseball JUCOs.
Yeah, ranked in the top 10 the last few years.
By the way, the walk was sponsored by Edward Jones, Lindsey Downey. There's the cutoff of the throw. Here comes Washburn with a double steal, and it's a 1-1 game.
Great execution of the double steal there. Marian trying to hit the cut on that throw home, but when you got Washburn, who's trying to break the Indiana stolen base record at third base, it's one of those, do you make that throw anyways?
Well, that would be the question is, would you be better off just throwing that one back to the pitcher and maybe getting him caught in a rundown between third and home, and Washburn comes out to try to make sure that he stepped on home plate, but I'm pretty sure he did since he smothered it.
Couldn't see it. The Land Sharks wishes a successful and safe high school season to all existing and former Sharks. Land Sharks has 14 Sharks playing in this game and more than 110 players in baseball and softball competing for the local high school in Indiana and Michigan. For more info on joining Land Sharks, email landsharksbaseball@gmail.com.
That St. Joe Run, sponsored by our friends at Crimmins Carpet Services, as the base running for St. Joe continues to drive Briones nuts out there on the mound, and he stepped off the rubber. Here comes the 0-1 to Zielinski. That one turned on into left field and down the line, hit well, and it's in there for an extra base hit. The run will score. Zielinski cruises into second with a stand-up double. It's 2-1, St. Joe.
Great job by Zielinski, turning on that fastball, getting the barrel, hitting it down the line, knocking in Brett Mason.
For Zielinski, his 7th run batted in on the season, and you'll get another look at this one on the instant replay sponsored by Marian High School. So it's a 2-1 St. Joe advantage, and here's Josiah Gustin, the DH. Gustin, a junior, batting .400, and the pitch is a little bit outside for ball 1.
Gustin got some opportunities to catch the last few games with Balin out. Did a great job behind the plate for these Huskies.
And he'll likely be moving to first base after today with Zielinski having the surgery. Hands very active in the right-hand batter's box as he takes that one inside, and it's 2-0. And we mentioned one of the keys to the game for Marian was throwing strikes. Well, they hit a batter and they walked a batter, and 2 runs have scored, both of them sponsored by Crimmins Carpet Services. You put 3 men on base, you're going to pay a price against the St. Joe team. That pitch taken upstairs, and the count goes to 3-0. The Huskies have been scoring runs with the best of them. Yesterday was the first time all season that they were held below double digits as they beat Mishawaka by a count of 7-5. There's a strike over the plate. Now, you can sometimes say, well, who have you been playing? Well, they swept the defending 3A state champions in New Prairie, so this is a quality ball club.
Yeah, they can definitely hit the ball, put the ball in play, and they've been doing a great job at pitching as well.
3-1 pitch. Gustin thought it was ball 4. Instead, he'll have to retrieve the bat as he took a strike on the outside corner, and the count goes full at 3-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes, the count on the St. Joe DH, and the payoff is fouled away and out of play on the first base side. It's still 3-2.
Briones' pitch count getting up there as well here in the first inning. Going deep in counts now to 3 of the 4 batters.
The only one he didn't go deep on was Zielinski, and that's because he was in a hurry to hit the pitch. This one popped foul and out of play, and it remains 3-2. A.J. Lassane, the third baseman, waits on deck. (2-1) St. Joe with the lead here on Sports Michiana, as you see on the TireRack.com scoreboard. Payoff pitch. Line back up the middle and into center field. It gets down for a base hit. Zielinski rounds third and heads for home. He'll score standing up. It's 3-1 St. Joe.
Great job of staying through the ball for Gustine, knocking it right back up the middle, doing his job, knocking in another run.
And for Josiah, that's his 4th RBI of the season. Here's A.J. Lassane, the third baseman. Lassane, only a sophomore, but he's batting .412 with a homer and 8 runs batted in. By the way, that's another one sponsored by our friends at Crimmins Carpet Services.
Reminder, our first innings brought to you by Marian High School. Join Marian High School as we relive one of the greatest decades in music history at our spring musical, Back to the 80s. A totally awesome musical. Performances are April 25th, 26th, and 27th at Marian. For more information or to purchase tickets, go to marianhs.org.
Oh, that sounds rad.
Rad.
Briones is ready. The lefty comes to the plate, and it's lined back from whence it came for another St. Joe base hit. Stopping at second is Gustin. First and second, still nobody out, and here's Owen Balint, the catcher. Boy, that bat came off the bat of that ball came off the bat of Lassane with some velocity, folks.
Coach Turnock going to make his first visit to the mound.
Nobody warming up yet in the Marian pen. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout. You're watching the Sports Michiana High School Baseball Game of the Week.
Let's be honest, shopping for window treatments can be a real pain in the glass. Shades, shutters, blinds, drapes, the options are endless. Avoid expensive mistakes and return shipping with online retailers. Call the local team at Quality Window Treatments. Their entirely local process makes choosing the right look for your space easy. They bring the showroom to you during your in-person consultation. And with hands-off local installation, you never make a measurement. Visit QualityWindowTreatment.com to book your free consultation and see your space in a whole new light.
You take a look at Joe Turnock talking on the Marian mound to his starting pitcher, Cade Briones, and there is some stirring going on down in the Marian bullpen. So Turnock trying to buy some time for his bullpen to start getting ready, and also trying to settle down his young pitcher who's making only his 3rd varsity start.
Hey, you want to help your team look great? It's Tops can help. They are the official outfitter for a number of local schools and even Sports Michiana, and they can do a lot more than just clothes. Learn more at itstops.net.
Owen Balint, a senior, a former student athlete of the week on games we've done with a 4.2 GPA. The first-team All-State hockey player comes up with a batting average of only 200 so far this year. No homers and 2 runs batted in. Missed some time last week with a family trip and hoping to get back into the groove. He had a 2 RBI triple last night against Mishawaka. He takes that pitch down low for ball 1. I shouldn't say last night. That was Monday night. These two teams were supposed to play last night over at Marian and got washed out. They're going to make up that game next Thursday.
What a week next Thursday Marian has.
2 with Penn and 1 with St. Joe. Other than that, it should be easy.
Yeah, and then you got a doubleheader on the weekend with Ileana Christian coming in and Westview as well. So 2 quality 2A teams coming over to Marian High School.
2-0 the count right now on Balint. Briones delivers, and that one is lined into center field, and that's going to get down for a base hit. They'll wave home the runner, Gustin. The throw will be cut off. Runners at the corners, and a run score sponsored by Crimmins Custom Carpet Services. It's 4-1 St. Joe.
Ferret Custom Roll Forming, the best choice in metal fabrication, provides ISO certified quality with unparalleled service and support. At Ferret Custom Roll Forming, we form value. Learn more at ferretrollforming.com.
For Bayland, his third RBI of the year, as you get another look on the Marian High School replay. Gustin stored easily. Runners at the corners now for Owen Fuda, the right fielder. Fuda batting .500 this year, but he's only played in one game. Throw over to first has Bayland crawling back. Fuda, a good student, 3.8 GPA. Has a nice level swing, batted .288 a year ago for the Huskies. Another throw over to first, and this is unlike Major League Baseball. You can throw over there as many times as you like. And perhaps Briona's throwing over there a lot right now just to give the bullpen a little time to get loose. The pitch popped up into right center field. The right fielder shading his eyes, and he makes the catch, does Brady Nitz. Tagging from third and scoring is A.J. Lassane. It's a sacrifice fly for Owen Fuda. Another run score sponsored by Crimmins Carpet Services, and it's 5-1 St. Joe.
Great job by Fuda, putting the ball in play, getting the run in from third, doing his job, putting this Husky team up 5-1 here, just one out in the bottom of the first inning.
Brady Loniger, the second baseman, steps in there now. Loniger batting .222 on the season, no homers and 3 runs batted in. He's a former Sports Michiana student athlete as Briones throws over to first.
Running back for the football team.
In fact, he had the game-winning touchdown against Marian back in 2022, so he's got some history of his own in this rivalry. Fastball missed upstairs, and the count 1-0. Loniger's been in a little bit of slump, though, for St. Joe. He has no hits in his last 6 at-bats. Infield playing at double play depth as, again, Bayland has to dive back in safely, and they're giving the St. Joe catcher a workout over there at first base.
Reminder, each run scored by St. Joe is sponsored by Crimmins Carpet Services. Crimmins Carpet Services is father and son owned and has been operated in South Bend for more than 35 years. Their team is dedicated to providing customers with quality cleaning and repair. Remember, it's not clean until it's Crimmins clean. Go, St. Joe.
The 1-0 to Loniger way outside, and that tips off the glove of the catcher Gruber and goes back to the backstop. We'll wait for the official scorer's ruling on that one, but I would guess that's a wild pitch. So runner in scoring position again for St. Joe at second base with only one away and a 2-0 count on Loniger. As the Huskies have their 8th hitter in the order at the plate. That one fouled straight back. He had a wicked cut at that. Two and one now, the count on Loniger. Loniger will be a business student at the University of Notre Dame next year in the Mendoza School of Business. 2-1 is hit high in the air to left field. Caden Bennett drifting back in left field. Now comes running in and makes the grab. Bayland will hold at second. 2 away here in the St. Joe first, and it brings up Dallas Downey, the center fielder.
Loniger put a swing on that one, just got under a little bit, had good contact.
And what wind there is today is blowing in over that left field fence out of the northwest at about 8 miles an hour. Here's Downey, the junior batting .385, no homers, but he has 7 RBI, and he leads this team with 7 walks, which is a nice thing to have from your 9-hole hitter.
Yeah, and average and amount of RBIs he knocks in out of the 9-hole, just fantastic job he's done for this team.
He is the son of St. Joe football coach Ben Downey and also a wide receiver on the football team because, well, that's mandatory in that household.
It's got to be.
0-1 the count, the pitch. Sweeper missed outside, and it's 1-1. Downey had 4 of those RBI on Friday in St. Joe's win over Plymouth. Here's the pitch, and that one's away as well, and it's 2-1. St. Joe started its season by beating a good Warsaw team 9-7. They had a 6-0 lead in that one before the Tigers came back. Then they swept a pair from New Prairie, beat Plymouth last Friday, and beat Mishawaka here on Monday night, 7-5. 2-1 pitch fouled back, and it's 2-2.
35th pitch of the evening for Briones.
That is not something that'll keep you around in a game for long.
Snyder with 32 that first inning.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 away. The deuce is wild on the scoreboard here. And the pitch. Way outside, and it's full. With the leadoff man, Joe Washburn, waiting on deck and waiting to make a shambles of my score sheet in the first game of the season. Take a look at Dallas Downey there. The junior. Played in 13 varsity games last year, but has a much bigger role on this team this season. Swinging a fisted foul to the first base coach.
Those got to hurt on nights like this.
Oof. They don't feel good on any night, really. And the count holds at 3-2. Lefty versus lefty matchup here. Popped up, foul territory. Gruber watches it sail out of play, and the count stays at 3-2, and the pitch count just continues to mount here for young Cade Briones. Briones looked sharp in his opening outing of the year, throwing 4 innings of 5-hit ball, giving up just 1 run against Northwood. But today has been a struggle. And another foul ball off the bat of Downey, and the count stays at 3-2.
Williams Family Chiropractor Clinic in Granger is a family-focused practice that treats newborns to professional athletes and everyone in between. They offer high-level chiropractic care, digital x-ray diagnosis, and non-surgical spinal decompression. Google Williams Family Chiropractic Clinic to learn more.
I'm not sure we had a swing and miss from either team here in the first inning. And the 3-2 again, rifled foul towards the Marian bullpen. The wind sprint's getting done by the catcher, Owen Balint, out there. Unless we have a courtesy runner in for him now. I would have to think that we do by this point.
Yeah, I don't see red hair out there for Balint, so pretty sure
well,
that
it's hard
is
to see
pitcher.
under the helmet.
Yeah.
Here comes another 3-2 pitch. And a little curveball fouled as it squibbed up the third base side. How many pitches in this at bat you got him for?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
I was going to say, you can take off the shoes if you need to count.
Yeah, almost had to.
The 11th pitch of the at-bat to Dallas Downey is getting ready to come here from Briones. And here it is. The runner goes, and the pitch is launched high in the air into right center field. Brady Nitz, the right fielder, comes on and makes the running catch, and the inning is over. But not before St. Joe plates 5 and takes a 5-1 lead on Marian after 1 on Sports Michiana.
Shopping for tires used to really grind my gears. So many tires, and the thought of choosing the right one made me, Precisely. That's before I went to TireRack.com. I got the best deal hands down. My tires ship fast and free, arrive the next day like clockwork. Tire Rack even gave me 2 years of free road hazard protection. Precisely.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Medicare plans can be confusing, but they don't have to be. I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I can help you compare your options because I'm appointed with many nationally recognized carriers. With my help, you can find the coverage that fits your needs and budget. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Ledger today to schedule your free consultation or visit tledger.com.
Your garage door keeps your home, family, and valuables safe and secure. Make sure it always looks good and works well. Precision Garage Door is your one-stop shop for design, installation, and repairs. Count on us to help you choose the right materials, style, and color for your new door. And when you need repairs, we're ready. Our friendly trained technicians work around your schedule and are available 24/7 for emergency repairs. Call your local Precision Garage Door today.
Garage doors done right.
This edition of the Sports Michiana Game of the Week being brought to you by Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, putting people over profits. 5-1. St. Joe leads as we go to the top of the second. Second inning brought to us by Ferret Custom Roll Forming. Jacob Snyder had all kinds of trouble in the first, managed to hold Marian to just a run, and his teammates picked him up at the bottom of the frame. And that pitch misses outside for ball one.
Second inning, like you said, is sponsored by Ferret Custom Roll Forming, the best choice in metal fabrication, serving a variety of industries, including solar, appliances, conveyor systems, chassis, and structural components. To decorative trim, learn more at ferretrollforming.com. We form value.
That was a ground ball that got a tricky hop there on Joe Washburn as he tried to backhand it and caromed into left field. I'm of the nature to give Jack Nunley a base hit on that one. I think that would have been a pretty tough play for Washburn, even though he's got a great arm. And so a leadoff single for Nunley here in the second, and it brings up Brady Nitz, the right fielder, who takes that pitch down low for a ball. Nitz batting 200 on the year, no homers and 2 runs batted in, but he has already been hit by pitches 5 times this season. Takes that one upstairs, and the count goes to 2-0. And Bowie doesn't strike me as a young man that stands abnormally close to the plate.
He got hit 3 times in one game against Adam on 3 curveballs.
2-0 the count. That's when you start to think it's you, not them.
Yeah.
And the pitch misses outside, 3-0. The one thing about Marian is they have battled back in several games this year. And so being down by 4, well, they're kind of used to that.
Well, and that's something that we talked to St. Joe about. One of their keys to win is play a full 7 innings. Well, Marian, they tend to play a full 7 innings. They might have a couple of innings where they give up 4 or 5 runs, but like you said, they have the ability to come back.
And Brady Nitz draws another walk, sponsored by Christensen Furniture. So, again, Marian with the first 2 runners of the inning on base, nobody out. And here's Caden Bennett, the left fielder, batting .333 on the year with no homers and an RBI. And Bennett gets a bunt down that he really didn't mean to. The first baseman, Zielinski, fires to first, shows that Tommy John arm is still pretty solid throwing that one. And that moves the runners to second and third with 1 away.
Well, you're talking about a guy that just hit 92-93 right before he got hurt, so he can bring it, that's for sure.
Second and third for the leading RBI man on this team, and that's the 9-hole hitter Silvio Gardini. No homers, but 7 runs batted in. He takes that one in the dirt for ball 1. Gardini batting .364. He went 2 for 9 against St. Joe last year, and as you may recall, Bo, we sat here and watched him pick up a couple of big RBI against St. Joe in that 17-9 Marian win last season.
Yeah, he's done a great job of really developing. He's very quiet, very fluent in his actions at the plate and in the field. He's going to be a big-time player here for Marian the next 2 years.
And he's ahead in the count 2-0 right here. He's had an RBI in every game and has a 3-game hit streak coming into this one. The 2-0 from Snyder. Breaking ball on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 2-1. Nobody up yet in the St. Joe bullpen, but the pitch is beginning to mount for young Jacob Snyder.
Got a shoe malfunction over on third base by Nunley. Nunley heading to Bethel next year to play baseball.
Here comes the 2-1. Breaking ball. It's in there on the inside corner for a strike, and the count goes to 2-2.
Looked like that fooled everybody on that pitch.
So Snyder, let's see if he comes back with one more bender. He tried to, and the slider is fouled away that time, and the count goes still at 2-2. Snyder was a terrific pitcher on this team last year, went 5-1 with a 2.76 ERA. So they're expecting big things out of him this season. He's in a jam right here, and he misses low with that one. The count goes to 3-2.
An area where Marian struggled a little bit this year is second and third, or guy on third with less than 2 outs, of moving that runner. They've had some big strikeouts so far this year of not getting that runner in when they had the opportunity.
We'll see what happens here with Gardini. He takes that curveball on the inside corner for a called strike 3. Snyder picks up his first strikeout of the night, and it comes at a key time for St. Joe.
Way to have confidence in your curveball, and with a 3-2 count, being able to throw it at any time, any situation. Great job there by Snyder.
Now here's where the top of the order has to pick up Gardini. Maloney was hit by a pitch his first time up and then came around to score. The night's only run so far. He's ahead in the count here, 1-0. Breaking ball there stayed up high, and the count goes to 2-0 with Vinny Gruber waiting on deck. Marian had the bases loaded in the first and grounded into a double play. They've got runners at second and third with 2 out here. And a 3-0 count on Evan Maloney, the shortstop. Maloney came into the action tonight batting .312 for the season. 3-0 here, missed upstairs, and the bases are loaded again. The walk sponsored by Christensen Furniture. And here's Vinny Gruber, the catcher.
To win in sports, adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Lindsay Downey, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help you create a game plan for financial success. See Lindsay on Bendix Drive in South Bend to get started today. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Gruber may only be a freshman, but he's had some big hits so far for Marian. He takes that one down low for a ball. He had a 2-hit, 2 RBI game against Adams on Saturday. The 1-0 at the letters for a strike. It's 1-1. Nunley at third, Nitz at second, Maloney at first. They all take their leads, 2 outs. And the 1-1 to Gruber upstairs, and the count goes to 2-1. A critical situation in this game, and Marian's going to get back in it against the undefeated St. Joe Huskies. The 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball down low, and it's 3-1. I like the way Gruber tracked that one.
Yeah, he did a great job. Snyder up to 53 pitches on the evening so far.
Outfield playing Gruber to swing late. Here's the 3-1. That's in there for a strike, and the count goes full at 3-2.
Been really relying on that deuce here as of late this inning to get strikes.
Let's see if he's got confidence in it one more time. Snyder's payoff. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got him with a bender, and Snyder walks the tightrope again. No runs, a hit, no errors, 3 left. We'll go to the bottom of the second, 5-1 St. Joe on Sports Michiana. And before we go to break, let's go downstairs for a Patrick Sideline report. Angelo Di Carlo has a scheduled interview. We should make that very, very clear with Marian head coach Joe Turnock. Well, we'll get down to Ange and Joe in a moment because I think Joe is about to make a pitching change here. And he's going to bring in
Isaac Gill coming in to pitch.
Isaac Gill from the bullpen. So now let's go downstairs to Angelo Di Carlo.
All right, Coach, obviously it's got to be a disappointing start to this game. Left quite a few runners on base. Your thoughts early on?
I think both pitchers are having a hard time finding the zone. I'm not sure hitters know what to swing at right now. So it's going to be a challenge, but hey, we've got a lot of baseball left.
What's your message to your guys? Obviously a young group here in a rivalry game now moving forward.
there's a lot of baseball to be played, Ange. So I've been here before. I mean, they're not going to quit. So we're going to go on to scratch away, and we'll just try to keep extending the game. So, all right.
Sounds good. Thanks, Coach. Back up to you guys.
All right. Now, and in full disclosure here, folks, we set up these times to do the in-game interviews before the game starts. So the fact of the matter is, yeah, it was probably about the worst time that Joe Turnock wanted to talk to us, and yet there he was talking to Ange. So kudos to Coach Turnock for being a class act.
Yeah, definitely in that situation. I think we all knew what he was talking about in that situation, but he did a great job of really coming across and understanding that it's a game of baseball, and there's a lot of stuff to play here. A lot of things can happen in baseball.
And we saw last year in this game a 17-9 Marian win here at Ernie Pajikowski Field. You can score a lot of runs without having to do a whole lot. But I am impressed with the way St. Joe swung the bats in the first inning.
Yeah, they just did a great job. They got guys on base, and then they just went with pitch. And you noticed almost every single one of them was to center field. They stayed through the ball. They drove it up the middle. Zielinski was the only one. He turned on an inside fastball and drove it down the line. And, at this point, like he said, both pitchers have been struggling a little bit, but St. Joe's been able to capitalize on that. They've had the big hits. They've had the continuation hits and really put the runs up because once Marian gave them those extra bases, they took advantage of it. Marian hasn't taken advantage of it yet.
Bottom of the second being brought to us by Farrah Custom Roll Forming. Isaac Gill on the mound now for Marian, and Gill with a 6.00 ERA, struck out 4 in 2 1/3 innings on Saturday against Adams to get the save. He's a member of the Marian basketball team, and St. Joe will have the top of the order up here to begin the second as they batted around the first. That means Joe Washburn starts it off. He was hit by a pitch and stole 3 bases to get a run back in the first. And Washburn takes a strike on the outside corner here. It's 0-1. Washburn has always shown a lot of promise. He was featured on the Sports Stars of Tomorrow program. It's a syndicated program that goes across the nation. He fouls this one out of play, and the count goes to 0-2. And in his career against Marian, he's fared pretty well against the Knights, hitting 9 out of 23.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things with him is he doesn't strike out a lot either. He puts the ball in play, even with 2 strikes, and he's got the wheels to where if he hits it backside, he has a great opportunity of getting to first base if you don't get rid of it quick.
Batting .588 coming into the action tonight. He takes this one inside, and the count goes to 1-2. I asked him about all the bling that he wears around his neck. Said he just felt like he needed something to help set him apart last season, and it helped. He batted .374. He lines this one into left field, and Bennett runs over and makes the backhand catch.
Little slide piece by Gill. Great job by Washburn staying with it, driving at the opposite field, but right at Bennett.
Now, that was just some good all-around baseball there. I like the way that he inside-outed that ball and took it into left field, but Bennett made a nice running catch on that one in left, so there's one away for Brett Mason, the left fielder. Mason walked and stole a base and scored back in the first. Gill with a slider in there for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Great start so far for Gill, coming out, pounding that strike zone, getting strikes, getting ahead early in the count.
Mason hit a homer against Mishawaka on Monday. He takes that pitch for a strike at the knees, and it's 0-2. This is not the easiest park to hit a home run in on a day like this. 320 down the lines, 400 to dead center field. But the wind is almost calm right now on a bright, sunny spring day in South Bend. Ground ball down the third base line over the head of the diving Hundt and down the line. Mason rounds first. He's on his way to second. Here comes the throw. The slide. He's safe with a double. Hundt had to make a do-or-die dive on that play. That ball took a huge hop over him down the third base line. There wasn't anything he could do.
No, he laid out for that one. Looked like it was going to go right where he was laying out to. Then a boop right there. You can see on the instant replay by Marian High School. Head. Great job by Mason, hustling around the bases, understanding the situation, and getting double here for the Huskies with Zielinski coming up.
And Zielinski has torched Marian pitching in his career. He is 11 for 23 against the Knights and had a pretty nice swing right there. Zielinski took the loss in the sectional championship versus Marian as a sophomore on the mound. And now playing in his final game in a St. Joe uniform before he goes under the knife tomorrow for Tommy John surgery on a torn UCL. There are two members of the St. Joe staff who have had that Tommy John surgery that are kind of trying to help Zielinski through this as he takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-2. Both the pitching coach Tyler Beck and the freshman coach Robbie Berger had the Tommy John during their careers, and so they can kind of advise them as to what to expect. No balls, 2 strikes, the count. Lined into left field, Bennett coming on, and he dropped the ball. So the runner will hold at second on an error by Caden Bennett in left field. And Bennett, who had just made a nice running backhand catch, came in trying to make a running grab on that one and just didn't put it away.
Hey, before the game, we interviewed our Student Athletes of the Week. They were presented by Tony Letcher. Tony is a lifelong resident of Michiana and a licensed insurance agent with Health Markets. If you need insurance, Tony is your guy. Google Tony Letcher, Health Markets to connect.
Josiah Gustin had an RBI single back in the first, and he's got ducks on the pond right here, sitting at first and second. And St. Joe already leading 5-1. Josiah with 2 doubles already this season. Has pretty good power from gap to gap. Fouls this one off the end of the bat and out of play, and the count 0-1. John Smolinski, the head coach, was kidding us yesterday during the phone call saying, I'd rather you guys not talk that much about guys like Gustin and Lassane because we're trying to keep them secrets from everybody. I think the secret's out of the bag by now.
Yeah, especially when they're 4-5 in the lineup.
Yeah, that pitch missing outside, and the count goes to 1-1.
Hey, congratulations to Marian High School science research students who qualified and competed at the Indiana State Science Competition in Indy. Multiple awards and scholarships were won by these talented students. Congratulations, Knights. We're proud of you.
A ball and a strike, the count, and that one misses down low. The count goes to 2-1. Young Isaac Gill trying to find the right formula right now on the mound to get himself out of this one. Perhaps he could induce a double play as his counterpart Jacob Snyder did back in the first. 2-1 pitch, misses upstairs, and it's 3-1 with the dangerous A.J. Lassane waiting on deck.
Yeah, one of the biggest things after a drop ball or an error in the infield is a walk. You got to go right at them, and that's one of the toughest things for a pitcher to really get back at it, focus, and go right back at the next batter.
Here's a ground ball at the third base line. Hunt has it, reaches back, and tags the runner coming in from second. It's a fielder's choice for Gustin. Mason tagged out at third. 2 down in the inning. Runners at first and second, and here's Lassane.
Mason laughing over there. He looked like he was talking about bear hugging Cole. They played summer ball together the past year, and seeing coming off the base, nowhere to go. Second out for the Marian Knights here in the bottom of the second inning.
I can safely say this. In a collision between the two, I think I would favor Cole. First and second, 2 outs, swing and a miss at a sweeper from Gill, and it's 0-1. Lassane had a single to center field his first time up. Comes from a baseball family. His brother Bryce played at Marian. His dad, a long-time baseball figure here in the area.
Me and his dad, Marcus, played Legion ball, post 357 back in the day, which is now travel ball.
Here's a high fly ball into short right field. Nitz looking up into the sun, makes the catch, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit, an error, and 2 left. End of 2, 5-1 St. Joe.
You dream it. We design it. You need it. We've got it. We crank it out so you can crank it up. We work with purpose to power your passion. It's game on, so come on. Let's elevate adventure. Let's take life to the next level today. Let's become better together. This is Patrick.
In need of an award? Call Crown Trophy of Mishawaka, the area's premier award provider. They've been serving the area since 2001 with cutting-edge exclusive products, personalized with state-of-the-art laser engraving technology. And Crown Trophy has more than just trophies. They offer corporate, sales, and retirement awards, along with personalized gifts and promotional products. Crown Trophy, nationally known, locally owned, where everyone's a winner.
This edition of the Sports Michiana Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Notre Dame Federal Credit Union. They're putting people over profits.
Get ready to start the third inning. Third inning is sponsored by Williams Family Chiropractic Clinic in Granger. It's a family-focused practice that treats newborns to professional athletes and everyone in between. They offer high-level chiropractic care, digital x-ray diagnostics, and non-surgical spinal decompression. Google Williams Family Chiropractic Clinic to learn more.
Good to have Zach Williams and that Family Chiropractic Clinic on our team as we go through the spring. Hopefully more to come with that relationship and that great practice over in Granger. Is a ground ball up the middle. Washburn over behind the bag on 2 hops. Throws to first for the out. 1 pitch, 1 out. We are certainly not used to that in this ball game here in the third inning.
Yeah, great job by Snyder getting that 1 pitch out. Good job by Washburn throwing out Will Coughlin. Bringing up number 17. If you notice, he does have his official jersey on now. 18-year-olds tend to forget things. Forgot his jersey.
Oh, you remember the mustache, forgot the jersey. Here's a fly ball into left center field, and the left fielder arranges over, and Brett Mason makes the catch. And all of a sudden, everybody in a hurry. 2 pitches, 2 outs here in the third. Where's this tempo been the rest of the game?
Yeah, exactly.
Ryan O'Hara will come to bat now for Marian. O'Hara, playing center field tonight, fouled out to the first baseman to end the first. And Jacob Snyder's sweepers on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. O'Hara only played in 6 varsity games last year, but boy, he's made a nice contribution this season as he takes that fastball down low. The count goes to 1-1.
Big thank you to Tire Rack for being the scoreboard sponsor for the Sports Michiana Game of the Week. Need new tires? Visit TireRack.com and check out their easy-to-use tire decision guide. Tires, wheels, and more will help you get there.
Swing and a miss, and boy, Snyder looks like a completely different pitcher here in the third inning. The 1-2 misses down low, and the count goes to 2-2. Outfield playing O'Hara to swing a little bit late as Downey, the center fielder, shades towards right. And a swing and a tap on the left side and right under the glove of Washburn and into left field. That'll be an E6. Fielding has been a problem at times for the Huskies this year. That is their 12th error in 6 games.
Nunley coming up. Only hit tonight for the Marian Knights has been by Jack Nunley.
He's had a few of them this year. He came into the action batting .455 on the season. He's now got a 5-game hit streak. After that base knock back in the second, throw over to first, and getting back in safely is O'Hara. O'Hara is a threat to run. He has 2 stolen bases on the year. And, of course, Marian would love to get somebody in scoring position here for Nunley. This pitch fouled out of play, and it's 0-1.
Michiana Repetition, fundamental baseball and athletic development at all levels. Travel ball, rec travel, winter training camp, strength and conditioning, and private or small group instruction. Send an inquiry to MichianaReps.com for your baseball training needs.
Throw over to first. Now, I will say it does appear that more and more colleges are paying attention to what happens in summer ball as much as they pay attention to what happens during your varsity campaign.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in travel ball, a lot of scouts at a lot of events, and it's one of those things where new age, great job by Balint on the throwdown.
It was a delayed steal, and Owen Balint guns him down at second base to end the inning. So the Knights go quietly in the third. We'll go to the bottom of the frame, 5-1 St. Joe on Sports Michiana.
Are you tired of auto service from big box stores and new car dealers? 45 years ago, my parents, Bud and Diane, founded Zolman's with a strong commitment to the community. Today, Zolman's Best One Tire and Auto Care is still family owned and operated with over 150 employees and families. And we offer a price match guarantee on any tires from any local dealer, while providing complete auto service on all makes and all models. Serving you and your family for 3 generations. Buy local, shop local. Zolman's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
We found out about Notre Dame Federal Credit Union through a friend. We were nervous about growing interest rates, but Notre Dame Federal Credit Union communicated the entire way through that process and made us feel like we made a good move. Finding a house was the tricky part, but securing financing and going through the purchase process with Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, that was the easy part. That was simple. We would highly recommend working with Notre Dame Federal Credit Union. The customer service is amazing.
Yeah. And this edition of the Sports Michiana Game of the Week is being brought to you by the Class Doctor, Mr. Handyman of 5-Star Painting, their neighborly hometown hero.
Bottom of the third inning. Reminder, our third inning sponsor is Williams Family Chiropractic Clinic.
Isaac Gill started the season on the JV for the Marian Knights. I'm not sure how many nights he'll spend with the junior varsity the rest of the way, not just because of the one inning he's thrown so far, but they used him a lot during the game against Adams the other day, too. I think Joe Turnock's looking for anybody who can get the ball over the plate.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job, and he usually comes in and plays third base when Cole's pitching and gets that done for them as well. So he's going to be a full-time varsity guy for this team.
Here's Owen Balint leading off the third. Balint had an RBI his first time up. 3-sport athlete at St. Joe High School. Takes that one outside, and it's 1-1. He was a terrific linebacker on the football team, then first-team All-State hockey player. Not sure he's going to be playing any of those sports when he moves on to college, so trying to get the most out of the high school experience. 1-1 tapped right back to Gill on one hop. He'll lob it over to first for the out. Then one batter, one out here in the third.
St. Joe High School provides an award-winning, affordable Catholic education that prepares students for both college and career. With the recent expansion of school choice, tuition is more affordable than ever. Join the pack by visiting stjoehigh.com.
Owen Fuda, the senior right fielder, comes up. He had a sacrifice fly to right field his first time up as St. Joe scored all 5 of its runs back in the bottom of the first. Gill's first pitch, a check swing foul, and it's 0-1. The Fudas have had a few of their children go through St. Joe.
Just a few.
Jack was a member of the basketball team, and now Owen on the baseball team. Swing and a miss sets some heat from Gill. It's 0-2.
Gill really feeling like he's settling in out there on the mound.
Well, both pitchers have looked like completely different people here in the third inning. The 0-2 coming around from Isaac Gill. Breaking ball missed outside. That's where the target was. And the count goes to 1-2. They wanted to see if Fuda would go on a little fishing expedition that time, but nothing was biting. Gill with the wind and fire. Bounces in, and the count goes to 2-2.
Imaginary Finishing Technologies in South Bend is a longtime supporter of high school athletics. They're also helping NASA send astronauts back to the moon. Want to help? Learn more on joining the Imaginary Finishing Technologies team at iftww.com/careers.
Gill's 2-2 lined into left field and a base hit. So Fuda continues the hit parade for the Huskies, as that is their 5th base knock of the game, and it'll bring up Brady Loniger, the second baseman. He flew out to left his first time up.
A family-owned business serving Michiana since 1912, Christensen Furniture is located on McKinley and Mishawaka. Customer service is their hallmark. They make sure you feel right at home by offering free design service at your home or in the store. Christensen Furniture, where affordability meets style.
Everybody wants to run a 4.4. Well, Brady Loniger has a 4.4, not in the 40-yard dash, but in his GPA. That's one of the reasons he was the November Community Award winner at St. Joe High School. Open stance in that right-handed box, and he fouls that one straight back. It's 0-1. Loniger, a steady second baseman, one of 11 seniors on this St. Joe team. So John Smolinski makes no bones about it. He knows it's a tough sectional with New Prairie and Marian, but he feels if they can survive that, this is a team that can make a decent run downstate.
Yeah, I mean, they've been one of those teams where, last couple of years they've been really solid. Marian's had their numbers in the sectional, and they definitely have the quality kids that can do it. And again, tough sectional.
Runner goes, the swing and a miss is a strike, and it's a stolen base for Owen Fuda.
Plymouth got some players in there who can compete in a couple of games. They might not have the best record, but they have some quality guys that can win a game here and there. CMA in that sectional as well.
They're always a dangerous animal.
Yep.
That's 5 stolen bases, by the way, for St. Joe today. Loniger down in the count, 0-2. Runner in scoring position and 1 out. Bounces in, and it's 1-2. And it's early in the season. Teams are still getting the feel, especially coming off a spring break last week for a lot of schools. Some schools took an earlier spring break, and I think that may have benefited some of them in baseball. Rochester is one that comes to mind. The Zebras are 7-0 right now and having a real nice year.
Yeah, definitely. Rochester really coming out. They've had some successful teams in the past, and they're really out to a hot start.
And, of course, there's always the big monster in the NIC that's Penn, as that pitch is taken inside. The count 2-2. The Knights will see the Kingsmen next week.
Penn Kingsmen, are they good this year?
They're good every year, it seems.
That's right. Well, you got 4 or 5 D1 pitchers. You got 4 or 5 D1 fielders. They're pretty good.
They took Lakeshore to the woodshed the other day.
Carmel, they double-dipped Carmel on the weekend as well.
2-2 pitch, breaking ball, skied in the air to left field. Caden Bennett under it. He's got the sunglasses down, runs in and makes the catch. 2 down. That'll bring up Dallas Downey, the center fielder, who flew out to right his first time up.
Yeah, Penn's a team that can definitely do some damage. Now they're going to have to go through Lake Central, who Lake Central's got probably one of the best pitchers in the state of Indiana. But Penn definitely has the pitching and definitely has the hitting top to bottom in that lineup.
Now it'll be different for these two teams playing each other because of the rain out yesterday. They won't play again until next Thursday. But most Northern Indiana Conference series this year are back-to-back games, as that pitch to Downey is in there for a strike at the knees. So, for instance, next week, Marian plays Penn on Tuesday and Wednesday, which means that you're not going to get everybody's number one pitcher every time you play it.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things they wanted to do with this conference once Bremen, Jimtown, and Glenn left is with the teams left, they wanted to do back-to-backs. But when you're Penn and you got 5-6 guys that throw, close to 90, I mean, it's one of those things. But, again, you talked about, St. Joe and Marian supposed to play yesterday. They can't play tomorrow because tomorrow's Holy Thursday and the rest of the week. So they had to move it to next Thursday, which put a kind of a damper for Marian's schedule next week. But, again, for St. Joe, they're going to get bumped as well. And they have other conference games and other games as well next week.
I believe St. Joe has Adams back-to-back on Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Actually, the team that leads the Northern Indiana Conference right now is Elkhart. They're 3-0. Scott Rost has a nice squad over there as that pitch misses outside, 2-2. I believe the Lions are 4-1 as they go into action tonight against Riley. Has not been a good year for the South Bend Community Schools baseball teams. Adams is really banged up, and Riley and Washington are in rebuild mode as that pitch misses down low and the count goes to 3-2.
Yeah, Adams was one of those teams who was expected to compete for the conference title this year, but two of their star pitchers, Masinski and Trimbarger, both had not season-ending surgeries, but they are at the point where they're probably not going to pitch this year. And then Mulvihill as well is coming back from rehab. He's on a limited pitch count as well. So 3 of your top pitchers haven't pitched at all this year, and 2 of them probably won't pitch all year.
Meanwhile, Dallas Downey with an RBI single here in the 3rd inning as he drives in Owen Fuda. The run sponsored by Crimmins Carpet Services. And for Downey, that's his 8th run batted in this season. And St. Joe expands the lead to 6-1. See if you get another look here on the Marian Knight replay.
Did a great job understanding the situation, pulled the ball in the hole there, and knocked in Fuda for the 6-1 lead for the Huskies.
At first I thought Gardini might have a chance to knock that one down and hold it in the infield, but it scooted by pretty quickly on this dry surface as the breaking ball is in there for a strike to Washburn, and it's 0-1. Washburn is 0 for 1 officially tonight. He was hit by a pitch, stole 3 bases, and scored a run in the first, then lined out to left in the second. But when your leadoff man is at the plate for the 3rd time in the night in the 3rd inning, you're having a good night. The runner goes, the pitch a strike, the throw to second, not in time, and it's another stolen base for St. Joe.
The Diocese of Fort Wayne South Bend Catholic Schools align dedicated principals, teachers, and support staff to the mission of the church. This allows each child to experience not only a great academic and safe environment, but one that leads to the development of virtues and holiness.
Now a runner in scoring position for Washburn, but he's down in the count, 0-2. Can Gill get the senior here? The pitch. Line back at his glove. It will bounce over to short. The juggle, the throw, and they got him.
Wow.
Isaac Gill in self-defense makes a dandy defensive play with the 1-6-3 putout. You'll get another look here on the replay sponsored by Marian High School, and Isaac, had he been 6'5", might not have caught that one.
Yeah, wow.
Meanwhile, let's go down for a Patrick sideline report. Angelo Di Carlo's with the St. Joe head coach John Smolinski.
Smo, you're up 6-1 through 3 innings. Your thoughts?
I want us to keep battling right now. I don't want us to be complacent. It's still a close game in my eyes. I'm happy with how we're playing. We've got to keep competing out there.
How has Jacob Snyder settled in for you guys? And obviously there's still a lot of pitches there, so I imagine this is probably his last inning?
Yep. He had a lot of adrenaline in that first inning, a lot of pitches, but, he's been battling for us. And, I like where we're at right now. And, this is probably going to be the last inning for him, but we're going to keep fighting.
Coach, thank you very much. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, Chuck and Bo, back upstairs to you.
All right, thank you, Anj. John Smolinski, one of the prides of Cross Creek Court, as he lives in the subdivision. Grew up probably I'd say about 6 houses down from me, so I know his parents, Chet and Thea, pretty well. And Johnny has done a nice job since taking over for John Gumpf, who won a state championship at St. Joe.
Yeah, Gumpf did a great job, and Smo's done a great job of taking over and really leading this program to a lot of victories and a lot of success. Getting ready to start our 4th inning. 4th inning sponsored by Michiana Repetition, fundamental baseball and athletic development at all levels. Travel ball, rec travel, winter training camp, strength and conditioning, and private or small group instruction. Send an inquiry to MichianaReps.com for your baseball training needs.
Jack Nunley leads off the 4th for Marian. He was at the plate when Ryan O'Hara got thrown out trying to steal. So Nunley comes up and takes a strike from Jacob Snyder, and it's 0-1. Snyder into his windup and delivers, and a ground ball fouled on the third base side is 0-2. Snyder, fastball mid-80s, throws the curve, the slider, and the change, and one of the things he's settled down on in this game is getting the ball over the plate. He walked 3 in the first 2 innings, actually 4 batters in the first 2 innings, as he gets a check swing out of Nunley here, and he didn't go. The count 1-2. But since then, he's been peppering the strike zone.
Yeah, he really struggled early with that curveball, could not find the zone, and he's done a great job, and he's had a little help as well.
Right on cue, the curveball on the inside corner for called strike 3, his 3rd strikeout of the game.
Balin's done a great job tonight framing some of those pitches.
And it'll bring up Brady Nitz, the right fielder who walked his first time up. You did mention that the 4th inning is being brought to us by Michiana Repetition.
I sure did.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the little repetition on that.
That is right.
Snyder ready, and here comes the pitch. That one down low. And the count 1-0 on Nitz. Brady, a JV player last year, also a member of the basketball team at Marian. His dad, one of the assistant coaches.
Yeah, his dad won a sectional championship his senior year and happened to be at Bremen High School in 93, I believe it was.
Shame he didn't have better teammates.
Yeah, it's true.
2-0 the count on Nitz.
Back when there was no class in baseball, beat Plymouth High School.
Was Bill Nixon still coaching then?
He was. And it was on their home field as well.
That's a walk to Brady Nitz. That walk sponsored by our friends at Christensen Furniture. And here's Caden Bennett, the left fielder who laid down a sac bunt his first time up. And I'm not so sure when he laid down that sac bunt that he really meant to bunt on that play.
That was more of a kind of get out of the way, but he kept the bat right there because it was an inside fastball when he laid that down.
He shows bunt here and takes a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. And Joe Turnock not at all happy with the call down in the third base coach's box. Here comes the 0-1 from Snyder. Line back up the middle and into right center field. It's a base hit. It went over the losing glove of a leaping Loneker. As Loneker leapt up there, the glove left his hand and dangled it midair.
Here you can see on the Marian High School replay, great job by Bennett driving that ball up, and Brady just jumped up, and glove came off as he was jumping up. 1 out here for the Knights with 2 on. Gardini, as you talked about, very successful season so far.
Well, the leading RBI man on this Marian squad, and having a chat with Joe Turnock down in the third base coach's box. Marian has not wanted for base runners in this game. They had the bases loaded in both the first and the second, and their inability, you referenced it earlier, their inability to convert with men in scoring position has really been costly in this game for them. We'll see if Gardini can do something about it here as he takes a breaking ball strike on the inside corner. It's 0-1, and that was the approach that Snyder took with him in the first at-bat.
Yeah, a lot of curveballs, 4 curveballs to be precise in that first at-bat.
Here comes the 0-1, swinging a foul, and Snyder ahead in the count, 0-2.
Notre Dame Federal Credit Union is the financial institute of choice for Sports Michiana, plus hundreds of churches and schools. Link your Elevate credit or debit card, and your nonprofit earns 1% cash back. Go to NotreDameFCU.com/Elevate to learn more.
Action in the St. Joe bullpen as Jay Newber warming up down there. A young man committed to St. Francis. That pitch didn't miss the outside corner by much, and it's 1-2. A ball and 2 strikes to Gardini, who looked at a called third strike his first time up. Snyder delivers. Breaking ball fisted back to the mound. Snyder looking, throws to second. They get 1 there, and the relay to first not in time. I have to be honest, I'm not sure Washburn ever touched the bag at second, but he got the call. Maybe we'll get another look here if we get the Marian High School replay at what happened there. So take a look at the footwork of Washburn over at second base here.
It was smooth, but looked like he did catch that ball, and he was off the bag when he caught it.
Yeah. But he was in the neighborhood, the old neighborhood play, as Evan Maloney takes a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. So runners at the corners.
79th pitch of the night for Schneider.
And the pitch count limit is?
It's up there, but this early in the season, you really don't want to really go over 85 this early in the season with the weather, and you haven't had a lot of starts, so you want to try to keep it around that 85 mark or below.
Maloney has reached base twice, once on a hit by pitch, the other on a walk. He takes a beautiful bender there for a strike, and the count goes to 1-2. Snyder throws one more of those. The Huskies may be out of trouble again. There was the curveball, and it's popped up behind home plate. Balint wanted to show that flaming red hair as the ball goes out of play. And the count stays at 1-2.
Marian High School would like to congratulate their hockey team on winning the Class 3A state championship. The Marian Riley combined team defeated the Evansville Thunder 6-3. Congratulations, Knights. We're proud of you, Marian High School.
Big season for the Knight Icers. Runners at the corners, 2 down, the 1-2 to Maloney. Line towards right field. Back drifts Fuda. He's got room and makes the one-hand catch to retire the side. The Knights threaten again but don't score. Halfway home at Ernie Pajikowski Field. 6-1 St. Joe on Sports Michiana.
Your car carries precious cargo. It needs to be dependable, rain or shine. Let Tom's Car Care Center in South Bend help take the stress out of your car's maintenance. We'll change your oil in 10 minutes, flush your transmission, replace your wiper blades, and much more. Oil changes include a half-price car wash when needed. Welcome to your extended family, Tom's Car Care Center.
When contractors and OEMs need quality electrical products at the best prices, they look to Babsco Supply. We strive to supply all the electrical products you need for residential, light commercial, and OEM electrical components. We have the knowledge, dedication to customer service, and extensive inventory to ensure your electrical projects are completed successfully. We are employee-owned, which means all of our employees are owners. So you know we care. With locations in Elkhart and Warsaw, Babsco Supply is working together to serve you better. Learn more at babsco.com.
Friends, this edition of the Sports Michiana Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Patrick. They've been empowering outdoor enthusiasts since 1959. 7 o'clock in South Bend, a 6-1 St. Joe lead on Marian. Chuck Freeby, Bo Hundt, and Angelo Di Carlo with you from Ernie Pajikowski Field on the north side of South Bend. For the renewal of this parochial rivalry over the last 16 years, St. Joe has won 28 of the 40 baseball meetings between these two schools. And Brett Mason of St. Joe steps in to lead off the bottom of the fourth. Isaac Gill on in relief for his third inning, starts him off with a strike, and it's 0-1.
Reminder, our fourth inning brought to you by Michiana Repetitions and an inquiry to MichianaReps.com for your baseball training needs.
Mason has really come on over the last 2 years for this St. Joe team. He fouls this one out of play. It's 0-1. But he's just an impressive young man. He was confirmed by Bishop Rhodes earlier this spring. He is a 4.0 student, and he actually was the featured speaker at the St. Joe Gala just last month.
Well, you can look. He's a very solid young man built-wise. He's put in so much work. Few years ago, he was one of those undersized kids, and in the off season, he's like, you know what, I'm going to put the work in, and he definitely put the work in, understood what it was going to take to play varsity and be a significant leader and role model for some of the underclassmen. He's just done a great job of really developing himself.
Well, and the power reflects in his game, too. He had a home run Monday against Mishawaka. Here he bails out of the way of an inside fastball, and the count goes to 2-2. The one thing I'm sure he wishes he could do a little bit better job of is hitting against the Marian Knights. He's 3 for 11 in his career. That includes a double back in the second. 2-2 the count as Gill winds and fires. Popped up foul territory first base side, drifts out of play. And the count still at 2-2.
Since 1959, Patrick Industries in Elkhart has empowered outdoor enthusiasts to achieve next-level recreational experiences. Patrick is a proud supporter of our local teams and athletes, empowering excellence on and off the field.
2 balls and 2 strikes now on Mason with Brody Zielinski waiting on deck. Fastball misses outside, and the count goes full. Nobody warming up down in the Marian pen, as Gill has been pretty efficient since coming on in this one in the second inning. The payoff pitch from the lanky righty. Fly ball into right center field, and it's the right fielder coming over, but it's the center fielder who will take it. Ryan O'Hara makes the catch, and there's one away.
Ball just kept tailing away from O'Hara. One of those balls, wind's blowing a little bit more. Nitz might want to be on it and understand that ball's coming back towards him.
Get another look here on the Marian High School replay, but O'Hara tracked it very well, and Nitz did him a favor by staying away from it.
Mm-hmm.
1 down in the inning, and here's Zielinski, the first baseman. He's not wearing them tonight, but a year ago he had some custom cleats made by Jerry Barkay. It's a one-hopper off the glove of the shortstop Maloney. That'll be an error on Marian, the second of the night, and they both have happened during at-bats where Brody Zielinski hit the ball.
The Land Sharks wishes a successful and safe high school season to all existing and former Sharks. The Land Sharks has 14 Sharks playing in this game and more than 110 players in baseball and softball competing for their local high school in Indiana and Michigan. For more info on joining the Land Sharks, email landsharksbaseball@gmail.com.
Josiah Gustin steps in, the DH 1 for 2 tonight, an RBI single back in the first. He rifles this one into right field for a base hit. Zielinski had to let it go through, but Nitz having problems picking it up, so Zielinski's going to race to third on another Marian error, and there's runners at the corners with only 1 out. Brady Nitz went over to glove the ball. He was worried about Zielinski going. Zielinski had already stopped at second, but when Nitz kept having to try to pick up the baseball, Zielinski said, all right, I'll go to third.
One of those extra bases we talked about. You can't give extra bases, whether it's walk, hit by pitch, errors, an error on a play on a base hit like that, instead of having first and second with force outs all around. And now you got first and third with the first and third situation for a possible double steal.
Well, and you've got A.J. Lassane at the plate right here, who has an RBI single and then a fly out to right. Came into the action tonight batting .412 for the season. St. Joe softball team was also playing Marian tonight and made quick work of them over to the diamond to the left of us. 14-0 in favor of Earl Keith's Huskies tonight.
We'll see them later in the season.
Against Penn.
Beth
Zachary's got another juggernaut over there. They had a terrific weekend of softball down at the tournament in Castle.
They have such a squad over there at the Kingsmen, and even their JV. Izzy Cartwright threw a no-hitter the other night for the Penn Kingsmen JV.
Well, Penn's softball team ranked number 5 in Class 4A this week. The 1-0 pitch bounced towards third, past Hundt into left field. It's a base hit. Stopping at second is Gustin. It's an RBI single for A.J. Lassane, and a run score sponsored by Crimmins Carpet Services to make it 7-1 St. Joe.
Respect, loyalty, pride, courage, integrity, and dedication. Those are the many ways the officers at the St. Joe County Police are serving our community. If you are looking for a career change that can really make a difference, visit sjcpd.org to learn more.
Lassane now with 10 RBI in just 6 games. Not shabby. Here's Owen Baylant. He's 1 for 2 tonight, an RBI single and a bounce out to the pitcher. He takes that one a little bit high for ball 1. St. Joe's now scored in every inning but the second, and they lead it 7-1. This is the St. Joe team that came into the action 5-0 overall and 2-0 in the Northern Indiana Conference. In fact, both these teams entered the night undefeated in conference play, as that breaking ball stays up high in the count 2-0.
Thank you to Lilliart Insurance Agency for all their work in helping Sports Michiana get all its insurance needs. Real people, real service, real value. That's their slogan, but Matt Lilliart and his team also live it every day. Visit realvalueins.com to get the personal touch you deserve.
Here's the 2-0. Fouled out of play, and it's 2-1. St. Joe batting .359 as a team this season, and a 2.12 ERA from their pitching staff. That's a pretty good combination.
Exactly what you want out of a staff and out of a lineup.
Was really impressed with the poise that Jacob Snyder showed on the mound tonight, because he was in trouble in a number of innings and didn't lose his head.
Yeah, did a great job of really battling, hunkering down, finding that strike zone, really battling through stuff.
And Balin takes this one the opposite way into right center field for a base hit. Here comes Gustin with a Crimmins Carpet Services run. It's 8-1 St. Joe. Balin with his second RBI of the night, his fourth of the week. And the hit parade continues for the Huskies.
Pinch runner for the Huskies. Luke Short coming in to run for Balin.
This is a role that he fills on this team an awful lot. Short with terrific speed. He's been used primarily as a courtesy runner. He had 14 stolen bases a year ago, and he's got an empty base in front of him here with Fuda at the plate.
Short with a decent lead over at first base.
He'll hold on this one and take high and away for ball one.
Locally owned Central Automotive in downtown South Bend is your answer for oil changes, brakes, air conditioning repair, general maintenance, and more. Check them out at Lafayette and Colfax. Central Automotive. We're here for all your automotive needs.
Gill from the stretch. There goes the runner. The throw over the head of Gill, rolling into center field, and another run will score. It's a Crimmins Carpet Services run for A.J. Lassane and make it 9-1 St. Joe. There seemed to be a lot of confusion on Marian's defensive execution that time. Gill wasn't sure if he was supposed to catch the ball or not. It wound up in no man's land, went into center field, and gave St. Joe another run.
Yeah, it's one of those execution plays, little things that you need to work on. Happens when you got a sophomore and a freshman in those two positions.
Nice backhand play by Maloney, and he throws out Fuda. The throw back to third, not in time. Balin able to hustle over to third, but Maloney made a nice play to throw out Fuda for the second out of the inning, and it'll bring up Brady Loniger, who's 0 for 2 tonight, and Myerd in an 0 for 8 slump.
Hit the ball solid twice to left field.
And honestly, for Marian, you just can't let that runner get in from third right here. You got to keep it 9-1 if you have hopes of extending this game to the full 7 tonight.
Bennett playing a little shallow in left field.
As Loniger takes a strike, it's 0-1. There's no wind to speak of right now. On a crystal clear night in South Bend. 0-1 to count the pitch. Check swing. Did he go? There's no appeal, and the ball down in the dirt, so it's 1-1.
Your home deserves the best, and your neighborly hometown heroes are here to deliver. Glass Doctor secures your home with expert glass care. Mr. Handyman takes on small fixes to big improvements, and 5-Star Painting revitalizes your spaces inside and out. Trust the pros who bring you peace of mind above all else.
3 runs already in the inning for St. Joe. The floodgates opening on an error by the shortstop Maloney. And St. Joe followed that with 3 straight singles from Gustin, Lassane, and Balin. Now it's Loniger at the plate ahead in the count 2-1. Outfield plays him straight away. The pitch outside, and it's 3-1. Dallas Downey, the center fielder, waits on deck. St. Joe has out-hit Marian tonight, 8-2. The 3-1 pitch, and it hit him in the head. Loniger grateful for the helmet as he goes down to first base, plunked by the pitch. And runners at the corners for Downey. It wasn't a walk, but we'll say that the hit by pitch was sponsored by Edward Jones advisor Lindsey Downey.
Another first and third situation. Marian hasn't executed these very well tonight.
At this point, even though you're only in a 9-1 game, you're almost better off letting the runner have second and just keep that runner at third. Downey hits a ground ball into right field, a base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Loniger racing for third. He'll go in standing up. Downey with the second RBI single of the game, and it's 10-1 St. Joe. And for the 5th time in 6 games, the Huskies have hit double figures.
Just a great job of understanding situations, and they get guys on base, they knock them in. The Diocese of Fort Wayne South Bend Catholic Schools is proud of St. Joe and Marian High Schools and the opportunities they both provide families in developing their children spiritually and academically. The Catholic Schools Office also thanks families for choosing Catholic schools. This year, their enrollment was up by nearly 4%.
By the way, that's another run sponsored by Crimmins Carpet Services. 10 mentions for 10 runs. Here's Joe Washburn taking a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Washburn lined a bullet off the glove of Isaac Gill his last time up. The ball caromed over to the shortstop Maloney, who threw Washburn out by a step. Washburn committed to play baseball at Creighton next year. And the throw down to third, trying to throw behind the runner that time, but Loniger was able to get back safely as Downey goes into second uncontested.
Like how Marian changed it up there a little bit and tried something a little bit different.
1-1 on Washburn. If he gets a base hit here, Marian might be in a situation where they have to get out of the inning. Oh, here's Maloney, boots the ball and throws late to first. You're not going to get Washburn if you don't field it cleanly. The run scores. It's a Crimmins Carpet Services run scored by Brady Loniger. And now it's an 11-1 lead. And
the Land Shark wishes a successful and safe high school season to all existing and former Sharks. Land Sharks has 14 Sharks playing in this game and more than 110 players in baseball and softball competing for the local high school in Indiana and Michigan. For more info on joining the Land Sharks, email landsharksbaseball@gmail.com.
Joe Turnock on his way to the mound will make a pitching change. We'll tell you who it is when we come back in 30 seconds on Sports Michiana.
Shopping for tires used to be like pulling teeth. That was before I went to TireRack.com. Tire Rack's tire decision guide made it easy to drill down to the right tires for me.
What?
Oh, I got a great deal. My tires shipped fast and free and arrived the next day. I even got 2 years of free road hazard protection.
Where?
You're darn right, wow. Next time your tires get long in the tooth, visit TireRack.com.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Finding private health insurance can be stressful. What if it didn't have to be? I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I prefer to personally meet with my clients so I can get a better understanding of your needs and budget. I can even review your current coverage. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
And this edition of the Sports Michiana Game of the Week are being brought to you by Big C Lumber, where the possibilities are endless. We welcome you inside the Notre Dame Federal Credit Union broadcast booth. Chuck Freeby, Bo Hundt with you from high atop Ernie Pachikowski Field. Impressive performance by the St. Joe Huskies.
I talked to you about before the game, they could hit. And we're seeing it firsthand here. You get guys on base, they're going to put the ball in play, and they've done a great job all night of putting that ball in play. Defensively, they've done a great job of holding Marian. Marian's kind of shot themselves in the foot a few times, and we talked about that as well. Their ability to not get runs in. Too many guys left on base. They've gotten opportunities. They just haven't been able to get them in.
So Colin Van Poppel has come in to pitch in relief here for Marian. Van Poppel walked 3 and hit a batter in 1 inning against LaVille. He was a pitcher on the JV last season.
Reminder, all these runs for St. Joe are brought to you by Crimmins Carpet Service. They've been serving Michiana for more than 35 years. Joe Crimmins and his sisters Samantha and Danielle are proud St. Joe alums. They clean for St. Joe and can for your school or business too. Remember, it's not clean until it's Crimmins clean.
The pitch to Brett Mason misses down low for ball 1. Mason flew out to center to lead off this 4th inning. Elkhart remains undefeated in the NIC tonight as they beat Riley 15-2. The runner goes and the throw bounces out to second base, but St. Joe will hold at third here.
Sports Michiana apparel is courtesy of our friends at It's Tops in Mishawaka. Clothes, office supplies, tumblers. If you want to put your logo on something, odds are It's Tops can make it happen. Locally run since 1976, It's Tops give you the personalized attention you deserve. Learn more at itstops.net.
That was the 4th stolen base of the night for Joe Washburn. Meanwhile, the pitch misses high, and it's 3-0 to Brett Mason. Brody Zielinski waits on deck. Van Poppel's pitch inside and high for ball 4, so Mason reaches on a walk. That's sponsored by Edward Jones advisor Lindsey Downey.
Speaking of Edward Jones advisor Lindsey Downey, to win in sports, adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Lindsey Downey, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help you create a game plan for financial success. See Lindsey on Bendix Drive in South Bend to get started today. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
11-1, St. Joe leads it. Here's Brody Zielinski playing in his final game of the season before Tommy John surgery tomorrow. He'd love to make his last at-bat of his St. Joe career a memorable one. He's got the bases loaded here with 2 out. Colin Van Poppel is ready in the pitch. Swing and a miss, so he was looking to take one out of here and couldn't connect. It's 1-1.
Yeah, a little high right there. You could tell he was waiting for that fastball. He wants to absolutely crush this ball to end his high school career.
He had an RBI double back in the 1st. Has reached on a couple errors since then. Takes that pitch down low, 2-1.
The Land Sharks are wishing a successful and safe high school season to all existing and former Sharks. The Land Sharks has 14 Sharks playing in this game and more than 110 players playing softball and baseball in Indiana and Michigan. For more info on joining the Land Sharks, email landsharksbaseball@gmail.com.
Popped up foul behind home plate and out of play.